Today is Monday, August 16th, and this is Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast. Kyle Petty, and I'm joined by John Dunphy and Gina Morgino, and we just want to jump right on in. Kyland won head of household, and there's obviously so much to unpack there because a lot went on. So, Kyland is head of household, yay nay.
Definitely not.
I say nay.
I also say nay. Yeah, this was not anything close to what I was hoping for, honestly. But
no, it's not. It's not. How do we feel about the way that he kind of passed up Oz's chance at winning HOH? What do we think about that?
I mean, what's crazy about these knockout competitions is that no matter what the intended result is, it always kind of forces everybody to show their cards.
And that's why I love them.
Well, yeah, it's great, but it's been very detrimental to Kyland because he's been butting heads with a lot of people as a result of having no choice but to show his cards.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you agree with Oz's response and that he should have just thrown it to her? Like, what do we think about that? Because the edit really made it feel as if Kyland wronged Ozza. And I fell for the okie doke the first go around. Then I rewatched the episode and I said, you know what? Maybe he just didn't want her to win and didn't know how to say that. You know, because now who would Ozza now be going for if she had one? I mean, obviously Brittany's off.
I think
would SB would she have been a target? Maybe that's why Kyland didn't actually want her to win, but just didn't know how to say that to her in that moment. The edit villainized him a little bit, didn't it?
There's even outside of the HOH, there's so much to unpack with Ozza and Kyland from this episode and from this week, even based on things that didn't make the edit. I can't decide where I stand.
Okay, but so why? What else is there to unpack that maybe we did not see?
I mean, well, do we want to go through HOH first, or do we want to dive right into all of the...
which ends of the HOH? I mean, like, honestly, it ends with, you know, obviously our final noms being, well, initial noms being Claire and DF, which I'm totally fine with. I'd actually really be fine if this was the way that we got DF out. I don't really think that's going to happen, but I got my fingers crossed. I've
only seen the episode once so far, when we watched it last night, but I didn't really see much about this conversation between Ozza and Kyland. I definitely heard Ozza say to Kyland, like, I want this. But I didn't really hear what his response was to her. So I don't know if you guys, and I know, Kyle, you said you got to watch it a second time now. So
I still don't feel like his response was in the affirmative or the negative. I feel like it was just kind of a...
And none of this was on feed, so really we have nothing to go base this off of other than what they showed us.
Yeah, I still have no real recollection, which means it must have been a non-event. You know,
I did think like it was funny that it was like immediate. Like Ozza was like, "I want this," and then immediately after, Kyland was like, "Mine."
Oh right, there was no pause. He just went immediately for it, which is what made me then think like maybe he wasn't just so okay with this. And you just kind of caught him off guard.
I mean, it's definitely an awkward thing to be sitting there in the middle of an HOH comp and hear someone else say, like, I want this, and then you have to be yes, no, maybe. Like, especially when you consider that they're in an alliance together, working together in the cookout, but, like, he knows that she probably would go, Ozza would probably go after Sarah Beth, who's Kyland's number one, so why is he going to...
Well, exactly.
So
that's really all Tiffany's fault too, isn't it? Because she laid out like who everybody's extra person was, and like really just made that a little bit too clear for everybody involved. So now people are getting like really, really like territorial over like their person. It's just a really interesting situation.
And then actually, so this whole HOH competition is crazy too. So obviously the Ozza thing, but then at the end when we had Kyland and Tiffany made it known that she wanted it, and she had every chance to get it.
He really tried to throw it to, like,
Yeah.
genuinely was like, I will give this to you. Just don't make me look like an idiot if you put up me and my person. Like,
Right, which is so bad because we know that she would have put up Sarah Beth.
1,000%.
Which, I mean, really would have been such a delicious thing. Like, too bad that didn't work out. If he would have thrown it to her and then that's what she does,
Yeah.
that's the implosion of the cookout that I'm waiting for. Like, I want that.
Oh my goodness. It's wild. It really is so wild. And I'm curious to hear more about this stuff with Ozza and Kylan too that's been going on.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, I mean, we did see a bit of it in the one-on-one that they showed in the episode. And I know, like, we were all saying that it was very uncomfortable to watch. And it was even worse on feeds because that was such a long conversation of them just, like, back and forth. Ozza kept stopping him, being like, I feel like this is a job interview. Like, is this just going to be like me asking you questions and you just talking at me and then I don't get to say anything? And, you know, that there was like a bit of a blow up there. But then later on that day, he had his real one-on-ones, which was, he kind of took a page out of Derek X and Christian's books where he went up to every person individually and was like, okay, who would you target if you were HOH? Who do you think is like the biggest threat or whatever? Which I don't think is bad, because if the whole house has a house target, that just makes things easier on you. But
absolutely,
it was so uncomfortable because he lays it out on like a chessboard and sets it up as if it's mirroring the memory wall. So he's like, all right, take this piece and put it on the spot of the person that you think is the most influential person in the house. So she went, all right. And she put a piece down and he looked at it and went, oh, no, that would be Frenchie. And she was like, yep. And he was like, okay. Is there anybody currently in the house that you would say is like the most influential person on the house? And she went, I have no opinion on that. And he was like, all right.
Okay.
Who would you target if you were the HOH? Who do you think is the person that's like the most detrimental to your game? I don't have an opinion on that. Okay, that's fine. Who would you say is going to be the most detrimental to our alliance? Like, who would you say what would be the best for our collective game? No, I don't have an opinion on that. And everything that he asked her, she would just stand there with her arms folded and go, I don't have an opinion. Don't have an opinion. And I genuinely, I don't know where I fall on this, because on the one hand, like, she shouldn't have to show all of her cards and tell him, like, this is my plan, this is what I would do.
Right.
Because if you already don't trust him, he could, in theory, use that against you. So sure, I understand being a little more coy.
Right, especially because in a few weeks, that's what we're going to be at.
Right.
So no, so you certainly should not be showing all your cards right now.
Right.
No.
And so to a point, I can understand that, like, and we've seen bits and pieces in the edit, outside of the edit, that Kylan has been a teeny bit condescending this week.
Yeah.
But on the same token, like, this is somebody that you're aligned with, and this is the person that is currently in power. You have to, even if you don't want to give him the information, you have to say it in a way that doesn't, like, you can't be standoffish to the HOH.
Right,
like,
you want to say it in a way that makes them believe that they're getting some kind of information from you.
And even, like, at the very least, all you have to do is say, you know, like, I'm not really sure. You know, we've been, like, tossing up a couple of ideas. Like, I've been thinking about it. I don't know if I really have a concrete, like, something to say it in a way that makes it like this is a partnership and not just like, nope, closed off, not talking to you, we're not doing this. Because now you're putting yourself at odds within your alliance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't know if we're picking sides, whose side I would be on between Kylan and Ozza this week. I don't know where I land.
I think I'm still more on Kylan's side here.
It's dicey. It's been an interesting.
Just because he did win it, he won it because, or I'd like to assume, because we don't really know what you would do, Ozza, and I have to make sure that I keep my person safe, just like you wanted to win it to make sure Brittany was safe.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry you didn't win it. This is what it is. These decisions are going to matter in a couple of weeks. So can't really hate on him for that. Like, sorry. It's just unfortunate that what he doesn't realize is that, like, the person that he was going to throw it to actually was very vocal about his other person being the target.
Yeah.
Where from what
Especially
we
because
saw, Azza was not.
Kyland's been part of that conversation too. Tiffany's been saying, like, we have to split up Kyland and Sarah Beth. I don't trust Kyland in this alliance, but that's a problem for later. Right now, we got to get rid of Sarah Beth. Then we're going to talk about getting rid of Kyland, and which he's not aware of. So he was just like, sure, yeah, I'll throw it to Tiffany, not realizing that he was very much on her radar.
Yeah, that's what makes that kind of like ironic. But I in that moment though, I can't really like fault Kylan.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Given the information that he had, yeah.
No. Wow.
The High Rollers room is
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say that even after the HOH competition, we saw Derek F actually tell Kylan too, like, you like, be careful with Sarah Beth. Like, he was warning her.
Right.
Yeah.
He was actually warning her, like saying, just be careful with her because
saying like you guys are gonna be the next Alyssa and Christian. Like this is the duo now. Yeah.
I don't know if he's like even realized that, like, Kylan, until maybe somebody's gonna say it to him.
And somebody says it to him. Yeah.
So.
Which, I don't know. DF should also be careful with some of that stuff. Like, I know he's trying to be like a good person and be a good friend and everything, but it's like, these are the people that you kind of need to be targets so that you aren't one. So stop telling everyone where like little cracks or flaws in other people's games might be. Like, let them fall by it. I mean, like, and then at least it'll keep blood off your hands.
The plan is still to get the cookout to final 6, but once that happens, like, if you're the person that's been in everybody's ear, they're going to start to compare notes and you're going to be the first one out,
Right. And are we really going to believe that the cookout is really going to be the final 6, that we're not going to have a single casualty before then? I don't know. That may not be the case.
That's assuming the cookout wins every HOH until that point.
Exactly. This may not go down the way they expect. So again, like, these decisions now are so very, very important to make sure you actually get to that point. And DF has got to stop. Because you can now put yourself below a Kylan if he starts to play a little bit smarter.
Right.
Like, let Kylan be the bottom rung then.
It's pretty wild that, like, the members of the cookout, they keep saying like their goal is to get all of them to the to the end. Meanwhile, Derek F and Azza have both now volunteered to go up on the block instead of Brittany. Like, stop putting yourself right on the doorstep. Like, stop doing that.
I don't know why you feel so comfortable. I mean, anything can change at any moment. It's like,
pawns go home all the time.
Yeah, I don't know. These people are real brave. No, but the High Rollers room is open, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings about these America's Vote things. I enjoy them. I think they're really, really fun twists. I think I like to get my vote in. But I'm not always 100% sure that there isn't a little bit of maybe production, like, kind of getting in there and, like, tweaking with things just to get things to kind of go the way they want them to go.
Sure, yeah.
And with that, we have to explore what I perceive to be voter fraud. Okay.
See, Kyle's angry because Big Brother has 2 audiences, one that is privy to the feeds and one that is not, and he cannot accept that Derek F might have gotten $100.
I don't accept that. I think that it is a technical error. I think that this texting system is incorrect, and that somehow the DX votes have been funneled incorrectly.
Well, I know DF. People but didn't DX also get $100?
Yes, he did, and rightfully so.
I've heard opinions on this because I know some people did, like, just to see what would happen, just type Derek. And from what I heard, like, they would get a text back being like, press 1 for Derek F or 2 for Derek X, or like whatever it was. Like, you have to specify which one it is. Okay. But I've also heard some people speculating, like, I don't know, maybe like people were typing in the wrong one or whatever, and they were like, I don't know what to do, so they just gave both of them $100. Like, people are like, the backflips that people are doing to try to justify this is so funny because no one can accept that Derek F just got $100.
No, because I can't understand what point of the edit, like, what would I be missing exactly as to why people would think that he would be warranting like 100 of these bucks here. The top rung. Why?
I feel like maybe people who don't watch feeds as often based on the edits, like I have seen some talk on social media about people maybe not liking Tiffany as much as people who are like more privy to what she's doing in this game. And Derek F was the one who was very vocal of like, I want out of this alliance. I don't like Tiffany. So, or even, people who just want to see the drama. So people, I can see people who maybe aren't as into the live feed saying like, all right, well, this is going to be interesting. I'll give him this to see what he does with it.
I honestly wasn't that surprised by it. I think that I had been saying for a while I wanted the Jokers to get some, to get something here, and two of them did in Brittany and Derek F. So they've been down for a while. They both were up there. So, and I really do, even in the times that I've like just kind of checked into the live feeds to check out, I will say Derek F seems just like I've had a different opinion of him on the feeds than I have in the edits. And even in the last couple of edits, I feel like I've started to kind of warm up to him more. So like it wasn't super surprising. I think that if this same twist had come up like 3 weeks ago, I could see Derek F being, I could see him being much lower. But at where we are in the game when this happened, I wasn't really surprised to see him be like one of the top.
There is also a piece of like, we've seen it in seasons before, America loves an underdog. The Jokers have been the underdogs of the season. So like, of course, Brittany is going to get 100 because Brittany's been the pawn of the season. So everybody's like, you know what, let's throw Brittany a bone. Like, we like her. We want to see an underdog like come up and, have a comeback. And I think the Jokers as a whole have kind of been like at the bottom level of all of these alliances.
Right.
Which is partly what I was going to say, because I do agree with that. I think that once John had mentioned that they are both Jokers, like Brittany and DF, like that makes sense to me. I can get behind that. I guess then what does not correlate for me is how Alyssa then doesn't at least get 75. Like, how did she not get a bump after she just lost her person? Like, if we like an underdog, then what happened to Miss Alyssa? And that means it's just there's something more about Derek F then. and I just don't understand what that could be. That's all. But I mean, good for him. So we had multiple people playing for this veto derby. Okay, very exciting. The veto derby, basically, telling us what were the terms of this now?
Based on the rankings of the high roller competition, whatever the order is the order in which they're placing their bets on the people in the veto competition. And whoever's...
So Kylan is now going to get to pick first.
Yes. So whoever, if... I don't even remember who's playing. If someone picks Claire to win veto and Claire wins veto, now that person and Claire each have a veto. So there is a potential for 2 vetoes to be used.
We have Kylan, DF, Claire, and Sarah Beth. They're the ones that are placing the bets. Sarah Beth being last.
I was a little surprised that Sarah Beth played this week because I felt like she only got $50. Kylan's HOH, so like.
Right, that's the thing that gets me is like
I'm
her
surprised she
person
wasted
is the
her money.
HOH. Yeah.
She said she did it so that she could burn it up. She wanted to make sure that whatever the veto was not to be used.
But even if it was used, it wouldn't necessarily affect her.
Right. I don't think it would have either. I think she still would have been fine. I think that's kind of a waste. Unless now we're seeing maybe a potential personal insecurity with her and her relationship with Kylan. I'm sure we'll get to explore that.
I mean, I don't really... I haven't seen much of a reason for her to feel insecure about that.
Right. I don't know what that is, but...
I just thought it was odd. That was the only person that I was like, doesn't make sense to me. But
I don't know who I want to win, but I want whoever to win it to use it. That's all I know. I think it'd be very fun to see a week if a veto gets used twice. That is very interesting. And I would love to see.
The prizes for this room have been so... Like, as they were listing everything out, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to see all of these things.
I want to see everything. And I want more opportunities for me to give my person bucks. I want to find out exactly how we're getting more bucks. Because they said they were going to be getting some other way. Yeah. I'm very excited about all of that.
I'm also curious if, like, let's say somebody who now has a balance gets evicted. Does that money just go out the window? Or do they have an opportunity to, like, earn back... You know
Maybe
what I mean?
It gets put into a pool.
I would not like that.
There's so much that's unclear about it that I'm
That's
interested to
very
see
interesting. It's
what
interesting.
happens
I
with
hope
it.
it just goes to the wayside. You left, they're gone. All right.
I'm also interested because now, this is the only this like derby competition was the only one that people were eligible to play because it's the only amount of money that people would be able to have. Now that people are banking up more money, is there going to be situations where now like people are playing for more than one competition because people are going to have different balances? Some people are at 0 right now and some people are still at 100. So what happens? Because depending on how much you can earn,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you wait it out, then what happens?
Because yeah,
But
some
I
people
don't
are like,
think. But I felt
because
like
some
they
people
said that
spent
you
all
couldn't
of.
play Veto Derby more than once, though. Like once it's been
Oh, did they
played,
say
now it's
that?
over.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. And I watched it twice. It was a lot of information.
Yeah. It was like just a lot thrown at us in a very short amount of time, and
Yeah.
like not
Yeah.
everything was totally clarified either.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I feel like I was too busy like looking at things than like listening.
There was so much to
Like
take in.
yeah, because like as they're talking and describing like the games and the powers and stuff, like they're showing shots of the room and shots of the cast, and I'm just like, look, what's this game? What's this? I'm like not
Like
even
sensory
listening.
overload, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not even listening to what they're saying.
Even the
But
second time watching it, I still didn't catch everything. And then once I got to the end, I said, we still need to go back and find out like how does this
We
Veto
got
Derby
hold on.
work? I can just go back one more time, like just
yeah,
to really understand what they're doing. Because even just the way they unveiled the winners, I thought was like bizarre. And it's like, but then
yeah,
rewatching it, it's like, okay, I kind of get why they did it like that, but I still think that's kind of strange. Like,
I'm surprised. Like, I get that the whole thing is like risk and reward, but even though like her competition was not the best we've ever seen, I'm surprised that like they didn't just put Tiffany last. They just didn't even like as if she had never played at all. She now doesn't even get to bet on anybody.
no, she
Like
gets
I
nothing.
thought she
She
was going to
gets
be
nothing.
dead last, but they were like, nope, Tiffany's forget it.
You didn't place, we need not mention you. What do we want to see? We've got Claire and DF on the block. Obviously, they'll be playing in Veto.
oh god,
I want to see Claire come off, but if she comes off, then who do we have?
I want to see two come off. I want to see somebody get that other one and use both of them.
I want to see two come off, and neither of the two be DF. I just want to just see like that other seat just
Like
constantly
someone
just
gets removed,
rotating.
he renoms, and then that person
Yes,
gets removed.
exactly. That's what I want to see. I just want to see him sitting there the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to see Brittany back up there somehow. I do.
Really?
Yeah, I was really
very
happy for her that she won her BB bucks and everything. Like I cheered her on, but I just want to see another meltdown. And then I ultimately want to see DF leave. I'm not saying I want her to go. I just want to see her freak out.
I will
My
say,
goodness.
I'm going to say this in the least possible spoilery way that I can because I don't want to give too much information.
Oh, that's right, because she
But-
knows things. You see, I don't know. I'm not caught up.
What is very interesting about this High Rollers twist and like America's vote and all of this is that there have been talks of shifting the target based on the amount of money that people have received. Like this has really caused people's hierarchies to be a little bit different based on the results of who is earning what. Because some people have been a little bit more vocal about how much money they received than others. And it's really been a heavy topic of conversation.
You see, that's so interesting because when we first like started hearing more about this, like I was wondering because I remember I had started to say I was like I wonder how this will impact who like if somebody wants to go after someone that has more money, and I like started to stop myself because I was like no that's a stupid thing to say because there's probably going to be secret. But like you said, like I guess if people are kind of giving away like how much they have and stuff, like you can kind of figure that stuff out. But
some people have lied, some people haven't told anybody, but some people have, if they've either been excited or disappointed, said this is what I got. And it's affecting things.
wow.
I mean, I suppose that makes sense, but like, I just hope that doesn't mean anything bad for DX. I hope he didn't say anything.
I think he did. I remember him saying specifically when he found out. I remember him saying in the edit, being like, "I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to go outside and I'm just going to play pool or whatever." So hopefully he'll.
I will say though, at that point in the edit, I was like, "You could have done this better," because it showed him being like, "I'm not going to tell anybody," and then immediately it showed him in the bedroom, and someone was like, "What did you get?" And he was like, "Not 100." And I was like, you really could have covered that up a little bit. Like, that was not the way to lie about this.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
It made me laugh a lot. I did feel so bad. Because the first person that we saw revealing how much money they earned was Sarah Beth, who was also in the DR doing like the explanation of like, some people got 100 and some people got this, and then she was the one who got like the least amount of money, and it's like, you really had to make her be the one.
I know. Like, except though, I'm kind of glad.
Like, it was fun. I was watching it like you had to pick Sarah Beth to narrate this right now. Like, some people got 100, I got 50. Thank you.
All right, so catch us later on in the week to find out what Kylan's final nominations are. This has been Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast. Like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks for watching.